Counter-terrorists win.
Thank you. Just to be clear, Lekro is the in-game leader. Golden is just taking the roles of Plopsky at this point, as we understand it. NIP starting on the CT side, and one thing to consider, as well as all those asterisks that the desk mentioned, is also all the stuff happening with the org in the background.
Yeah.
That for the longer term players on the team, that has to be distracting as well. So there's a lot of things going on for Ninjas in Pyjamas, and I don't know what the climate is like in Sweden for all that stuff. I don't quite read that. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of opportunity to be had for CR4ZY, who will start slow on the pistol round. Otto and Esperanto with some flashes and smokes. Hunter deploying a decoy, however. I think he threw the decoy towards connector on B, which would suggest a smoke grenade, which is interesting. It might pull people out of position. We got some duels so far. From that pop dog positional ladder, if you will. Rez goes down 1 for 1. There's plenty of time on the clock, and CR4ZY move towards the side.
Yeah, doing some good damage here. They are making inroads onto that plant. That's a great fadeaway from Golden, as he's looking to do more damage here. Esperanto down as well. Golden with great defense from up high. And now the rest of CR4ZY are stuck in terrible positions. Hunter. Oh my god. Spots the helmet, but can't pop that in. There goes Get Right. Lovely finish for NIP. Very nicely done. I felt like they were in a lot of trouble there. The positioning of CR4ZY was really good, all until Golden got those 2 kills on the bomb train. That really just sabotaged the entire round for CR4ZY. So NIP get themselves the pistol victory. And if NIP are going to win against CR4ZY, I do feel like it's here, James. This has been the NIP map, I feel like, for so very long. They've always loved playing train.
I think to NIP's advantage, considering all the mitigating circumstances, if you will, is the fact it's the best one as well. I feel like the longer sets might not necessarily benefit them. So maybe it will make life a little easier, and some early momentum could certainly go with that. So we see there's a Zeus in the ladder position. Jason actually suggested we do a Sounds of CSGO with the Zeus. I actually looked into it, and it isn't a non-fatal weapon, it's a less fatal weapon. So we might have to pass on that, Jason, because it might kill someone.
What if we wear the correct offensive gear?
To electricity?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. CR4ZY looking to burst onto the B-bomb site with the Glocks and the OP-250. And they'll get not much out of it. Did the best they could in the circumstances, but I'm sure they'll be buying now.
What if, James, we just turn the voltage down really low?
I'm not effing with any of that stuff.
You wanted to do attack dogs?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You
but
look at your taser.
I'll pass on the taser. Someone's gonna die. Even when we're walking in the hotel lobbies and so on, I'm getting zapped every time I press an elevator button. The static electricity is all over the place. It's gonna be like a bad Raiden.
Alright, well, we got the MP9s continuing on for NIP now, and so you'd imagine some level of aggressive positions with those. And we shall see CR4ZY with the first frag. They're making their move through the halls, and you can see these aggressions from NIP are not working out very well. However, the bomb is towards Lekro. He's alone, but okay, they're going to rotate back. Interesting. There is still a possibility for NIP to come back in this round. I like that CR4ZY have left a lurk towards the upper position towards B. And they are setting their sights towards A now. Looks like they might be even setting up some smokes to attack into the A bomb side. With a forward position on Rez in Pop Dog, and with no one going to that position, he's likely not going to find too much love with that UMP. It's only really going to be good in those closer range engagements. And it looks like CR4ZY are actually going all the way towards Ivy. So NIP just stacking towards this B bomb site is certainly not going to be ideal. However, it does allow them to save, the option to save their guns. They'll just have to deal with the lurker, which is Otto, but they do get to save their guns if they fancy not going for that retake on A.
Otto's making some sounds towards the B bomb site. Rez on the flank now. Otto will get taken out. That's a nice upgrade for him. Now they should realize what's going on and that they are out of position. So what do they choose to do? Moving towards the connector or CT spawn, perhaps they could go for a boost. The Molotov won't help them though. CR4ZY will plant the bomb with some comfort. So we can see Lekro will show some presence towards connector. There are 2 kits on the players in this team. They want to go for it. A wide swing from Get Right, a ding dong with the MP9. Can he pick up the rifle? Maybe this is enough, although they continue to move closer to the site. Rez making no bounds about his position. Somehow he wins that duel. There was so much warning there, but Esperanto's here to trade. Get Right's in the red with 12 HP. He's the only person with a kit, so I think it's time to save. Lekro's standing on the bomb, so hold on a second.
Wow.
Hold on a second.
What the hell just happened?
How on earth have they won that?
Oh my god, that did not make any sense for them to win that round. So firstly...
I was just waiting for them all to die, basically.
Exactly, no, of course. And they just somehow win all these duels. Obviously, it starts out with Get Right on that swing with the MP9, and, you know, Rez getting a free upgrade there. I mean, that's all very normal, but retaking the A-bomb site when the only positions that they're coming from are the backlines is pretty ridiculous. Oh my goodness. I mean, CR4ZY only had 1 player that wasn't really in position to help because he was covering the team main flank. So
I wonder if that took them off guard.
That does kind of, that spells good things for NIP for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I think putting the NIP in a 0-3 spot is kind of crazy because while their results have been abysmal of late, I think especially with everything going on outside the servers, there's no better place for these players to be than in the servers. And again, with 2 best of 1s to play,
oh my god.
They're going back to back. Oh, that's gonna be that's a really big frag. It'll be responded to though.
That's so weird.
Yeah, let's see this push towards the goal. That's at a really good angle. He's got 2. Lekro's there to trade and clean up, leaving Otto with 1:10 to try and find an entry. I don't know if the bomb was spotted because he was on the high ground. It's been spotted now. 4-0. Great start for NIP again. With 2 best of 1s, I feel like they're going to raise their game at a major. And I think this is just it's just refreshing for them. It's like this is what we are built for. This is who we are. Playing in a major, forget everything else. And Forrest hasn't even started yet. He's got his AWP out, but he's not on the scoreboard just yet.
Yeah.
Lekro is the opposite to James Bond. I guess he's Jason Bourne, or who knows, 700, 700.
Yeah, definitely the better end of it. Yeah, I mean, this is a great start, and, you know, for those people that they just want to watch Counter-Strike and are fans of the Counter-Strike of these players and the legacy of some of these players like Get Right and Forrest. Like, Forrest is one of the best Counter-Strike players of all time. It's irrefutable. He is one of the oldest Counter-Strike players still playing professionally, as is Get Right. And these guys have been through thick and thin. They've been playing professionally for over a decade.
I think Forrest is going to be an awesome dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think anybody will disagree with that.
And he's a born gamer as well. Any game he takes to, he absolutely crushes it. He's got a crazy knack for anything game related. And it's good to see NIP with a strong start here, looking pretty good so far. CR4ZY. Get some damage in. Just playing it slow, again, trying to get rid of some of those nades. Esperanto finds one on Rez. That's annoying for NIP. Get Right, replacing the position. But you have to be really careful about these jiggles. Oh, Esperanto commits and Get Right turns his back to Ivy. There was no one covering it, so Get Right needed to look there.
Now they've got no position on A. Again, it's something I always mention. The Deagles are so good on the T side of an eco on train, because if the C2s choose to engage you, there's only so many places they can stand. So if you just keep popping them like that and they don't move, they're just going to keep taking bullets. Unless you land that shot in the head, obviously. But again, we're seeing it now. Lekro getting tagged as well, down to 50 HP. So close to landing, not quite landing the shot. Very strange round so far, but you really have to be careful engaging the Desert Eagles. Those tight channels.
Oh!
That is unbelievable from Forrest, but there's a lot more to do. The M4's moving forward now, trying to sweep up, and now Forrest suddenly left alone. Doesn't want to drop the AWP, but he'll have to. Not the ideal engagement, especially with erratic peeking from the Deagle plays as well. You're bursting, but you don't know when they're popping up, but they know where you're going to be when they pop out.
Yeah, one of the strange things about that round, which led to GeT_RiGht's death, is the fact that there was no cover on Ivy. I think because Rez died straight away, GeT_RiGht was the player that was looking after Ivy, so suddenly he was looking after Rez's position and Ivy, which obviously is a 180. That's not a good spot to be in, and that spelled problems. I think that positionally that was the issue for NIP.
They could have done with a proper pop flash towards the Ivy position. Actually, from the bottom of the ladder, there's a left and right click flashbang that you can do, which is a pop flash towards the Ivy position. You can actually run with it as a bait to make them face. It's something you can see Nico do it on occasion if he's in that area for FaZe Clan.
Yeah,
I think I've put a video of it on YouTube, but I mean that's one you do by yourself. But ideally, you want to make those forward plays. But where they haven't been practicing and people have had, like daddy jobs and other things to do, I think you might see a lack of polish in that respect, and that might cost them.
Yeah, that's the spot where, like, if GeT_RiGht has to be in that position, that's suboptimal. Like, the whole team needs to reconfigure on the A-bomb side. It's not too difficult to do, but yeah. But we'll see if they can return in this round. They are lacking utility desperately, but after that 3v4 retake on A, anything is possible.
There's one flash on NIP, and it's Forest, and he's the person standing in front of main. Ideally, he'd want to be flashed in at this point to get some forward information. That's not quite the case just yet. 3 players on B ramp. GeT_RiGht moving back. Seems Nexus running distraction towards the A bomb side. Still on the low down though. Maybe GeT_RiGht can. Oh, that's absolutely brutal. Both the B players taken out. NIP out of position. I think there's a molly by that connector area. Indeed, there is. And that's a simple out maneuver. Yeah. But they know Nexa is around Ivy because he was throwing some grenades earlier on. So there isn't really anywhere safe for NIP to save. They're in a really weird spot where they're just hiding on the bomb train on A, which is very unusual.
Yeah, and to be able to get that kill on Golden, you don't see it too often. One of the reasons you don't see that too often is because where we saw the spray coming from Hunter, he was very exposed towards to side alley, to connector and so on, and normally you don't have the space to just stand there exposed to casually spray that. You'd have to actually push much closer to do it so you're in cover. So that lack of utility, that lack of pressure from NIP in this round certainly cost them, but they will keep 3, okay, there you go. They'll keep 3 weapons alive, so that's pretty critical. It does allow for a buy in this round, but they'll have the same problems. They're going to have a lack of utility, and they're going to require to play. They want to play faster. They want to play more aggressive. But as you can see in the previous round, CR4ZY played it slow. They forced NIP into the spot where they were unable to really be aggressive.
There are some tools to work with. Beautiful from Lekro. Fast enough reaction. Catches the arm of Letney, I think. And maybe that weapon can be collected. You can see there's a smoke towards main. Didn't go far enough, really, but with 2 players on pistols, maybe somebody can collect if they feel like they've got an opportune moment to do so. GeT_RiGht spotting Ivy with a deagle. So maybe he makes his way over to collect something. The other pistoling player is Golden on the B bomb side. And once again, it's a 3-man push from CR4ZY. Golden rotating with the flash. He's caught Hunter off guard. Really nice stuff. Got a good angle for a one-shot. Won't land it on this occasion. There is a trade, though, from Lekro. GeT_RiGht has indeed picked up that AK-47 in main, and now he's on the flank.
Yeah, and the presence from Lekro with that AWP is causing problems here for Otto to want to cross. Lekro's repositioned though towards Oil, and he's going to go for a deeper angle. And this is definitely the play you need to make. Keep repositioning, keep things dynamic, and CR4ZY are kind of stuck in the mud at the moment. Lekro might have nailed this. He will just about spot Nexa, and he'll nail him as well. Otto now with it all to do. 30 seconds to go, and there's just too many angles. Rez will take him out. 5-2, NIP recover, and I got to say, this is very reminiscent for me of NIP. Just being in spots where they just don't quite have what you'd like, but they still kind of find ways to win rounds in these awkward positions.
Look how fast Lekro is here. A jumping player as well. Wow. That's not an easy shot to land.
He's 11 for 1 right now, James.
That's beautiful.
That is actually madness.
Rez collected the AWP from Otto, threw it to Forest at the end of the round there. Got to mention that. That's a lot of extra firepower and bonus money for Ninjas in Pyjamas. A tactical timeout from CR4ZY, as you can see. They'll be on the buy as well. They've got more money than NIP have. But I think it's tight for both squads. A lot more tight, though, for NIP. So this is a big round for them to hold on to. Nexa, he's been so key for CR4ZY in so many of their games so far. But he's not lighting up the scoreboard just yet.
Yeah, he's been extremely impressive. However, double orbs coming in. We get, Forest on the AWP as well as Lekr. Lekr is obviously feeling it. Lekr, an incredible player. Again, if you missed it in the interview, we had that he is still on the IGL role, as Golden just takes over Popsky's roles. So, something to bear in mind. NIP obviously no time to put in any changes, any new systems. So they'll just rely on some of the old stuff, and with a fresh take, having Golden in the mix. And sometimes that works. Sometimes it works. And of course, NIP fans are hoping that it will work here for NIP at this major. Rez forced out of the top position. That's where he has always played for NIP. Very adept in that area, but it's looking a bit scary now as CR4ZY start to push towards A.
1 minute on the clock. Smoke towards the ladder room. Pop flash. No one to push with it, though.
Do they know about Letney? I don't think they do.
This is holding the angle. He's making no assumptions, which is good. 45 seconds, and maybe they're waiting for a CT to make a mistake, especially with that flash towards me. You do wonder if someone's going to start creeping. Rez gets taken out eventually. Just as the grenades start to fly in, Forest, where does he choose to peek? He's got to hold lane and the ladder room at the same time, but they're out. They're all over the place. They're swarming like the Zergs. 5 versus 3 for CR4ZY with 30 seconds to plant the bomb.
Lekr in a hell of a bad position. Looks like at this point, I don't know if there's all that much left for NIP to do. 2 versus 4, they're locked out of the bomb site, and I think they're starting to back away. At the very least, CR4ZY repositioning towards old bomb, and he will get caught. Golden might lose everything as well, as he tries to fall back. Really got to try to save this. I don't know if there's any weapons, any upgrades that are available. He'll have to just settle with the M4. And indeed, that was, I don't know that whether or not Letney's position was known. I think that given that NIP had more passive positions and there had been spots where vision had been obscured here or there, NIP was suspicious of a player. That player could have moved towards Olofmeister, but Letney obviously finding a great timing with the pre-aim as well. That's gone though, going to go down to... And that seemed to kind of spiral things out of control. You can see Forest's position immediately compromised, can't even activate with the AWP. Very difficult times there for NIP, and it was very expensive what they lost. They had everything. They had 2 AWPs and the max everything, so...
Yeah, Forrest was caught in a horrible situation once his teammate had gone down. I'd like to see some forward plays into main from Ninjas in Pyjamas, but they're going to need utility and a full buy in order to do that, which may feel like it's some ways away now. We've got the players stacking on the A-bomb site. GetRight's going to get absolutely deleted, however. Esperanto, in the meantime, has made his way into a very forward position in health. I don't think he's been spotted. We've got a smoke towards Ivy to isolate if necessary. One of the last 2 players spotted on the site. Beautiful stuff from CR4ZY as they look for their 4th round. Golden with Deagle and Kevlar moving around. The lost bonus is in the bin as well for Ninjas in Pyjamas, so the road to recovery may be long at this point.
Yeah, it seems to be the case that CR4ZY will guaranteed get to 5. Presumably NIP will full save in the next round. I think some teams are force buying in this round, but NIP seem to be a bit more conservative. So I would imagine we'll see... I mean, that makes sense because Train is a map where you do need absolutely everything. And I think the double orbs is a good shout. I think both Forest and Lekr...
They're very capable, but Forest is not having any success at the moment.
Yeah.
9 rounds, he's got 1 kill. Same to be said for Nexa. But the CTs, you have the angles. With AWP, you'd expect more than 1 kill by this point, but
yeah,
such is life. Again, Lekr looks very, very potent, especially with those players trying to dart out of the main position quickly, but it has not been enough for a significant lead.
It's good to see though. I mean, again, like you can see that NIP, like a lot of teams would have less money in this round in their position because they would have spent more in the previous round. So I really do like that they have the discipline to not just go for the full force buy, which there is a justification for it. They really are doing everything they can.
Golden is in connector with a flashbang over the sidewall. So he's got a setup which seems to be going towards E-Box if you look at him on the radar. But now he's changed his position. I'm watching him on my second monitor. Okay, the flash has gone into the middle. The head to his head. He'll avoid that, but can he avoid the fire? 2 may be enough. If they can take out their AK-47, they can. Forrest trying to run to safety, but there is no safety from Crazy in a round such as this. Lekro with the USP makes his way towards CT spawn. He may soon be met by the likes of Otto, who's been a very enjoyable sniper to watch. And it is somewhat late for GoTV picks, but for me it would be Otto. I really enjoyed his sniping. He's very aggressive, often in the right situations, picks the good timing for Crazy. So this game of Train, Otto is my GoTV pick.
Esperanto's looking really dangerous here so far today. His precision is really something to witness.
I might say precise.
That's what precision means, James.
It was a joke, Dan.
Jokes
And
suck.
then it mostly fly over your head, but
That's because it's too bad, James. That's why. Cannot acknowledge it. Though I did.
okay, Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to have more in the hole now. Forrest is going to the silenced M4. Get Right's picked up an AWP. Does he throw it to Lekro? Is he playing a spawn? Or is he just playing the... I guess he's just playing the AWP. So there's a change. That's interesting, especially considering Lekro's success. So it seems Ninjas in Pyjamas have changed something for this particular round. Now, maybe Forrest has picked up the M4 to go for an aggressive play towards main or something. Time will tell. We've got the initial grenades being deployed. Res by E-Box, Lekro and Forrest all around the E-Box and... the ladder room. Only res spotted though by Otto, so they don't really know what's up just yet. Crazy. There is a difference in this play from NIP.
And Crazy taking a peek with the AWP from Pop Dog, quite unexpected. Doesn't work out this time around. And again, NIP in this situation with a lack of utility. Res gotta be careful. He does do equal damage more or less to Hunter, but extremely wounded. Next he goes for the peek with a flash. Bang! Forrest is caught out. That is really unfortunate. It was a 2-man setup, but Res had to abandon it. And that left Forrest completely exposed. So it's not a good look now. Hunter will take down Get Right. So well, it's certainly a good look for Crazy, that is, though. And what is the option now for NIP? It's looking pretty desperate. Again, do you decide to go for a stack of 3 players towards the site here? How do you play this one out? We've got Golden walking up the high position on B. And that might be pretty good here, because it looks like Crazy going to try to fake in towards the A-bomb site. So Golden, if he gets a good engagement, if he gets a couple, this is doable for NIP, and he might just do it! Beautiful angle, spots the bomb, that's everything for NIP, and the follow-up is even better from Reds.
Great cover. Nexa trying to make inroads, trying to give themselves options towards A. Not going to work out, leaving Esperanto 1 versus 3. He's got $10,000, so he should be focusing on damage at this point. He's going to bait Golden into a forward position. But is he ready for the angle? Golden hopping up, and there'll be no more deaths for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Nice recovery after an awkward start around E-Box. E-Box essentially like a single bed duvet. There's just not cover for 2 people there. Really awkward stuff.
It's crazy though, if you consider how the round looked just on paper. It looks really bad for NIP. And then, but like that one play from Golden, just having the wisdom to go for that push, maybe catch a lurker at the very least, that was everything. That's so, again, NIP winning one of these rounds in which they look like they're having a lot of trouble.
Look at
on the AK.
Site. Golden is charging up with some flashbangs. Hunter is around the corner as well. That was a wild run from Ninjas in Pyjamas, but with the exchange of flashbangs, they'll both fall away. Now again, Forrest has made his way to the Olof position. Does he go into main later on? Rez is by E-Box, so it seems Rez will hold control of the E-Box position, and he will go into ladder. But I do wonder if we'll see some more aggression from Forrest a bit later on.
Got some information. Oh, hello. Rez gets some information as well. Although it gets taken down by Esperanto. But I was going to say that Gero got information that the AWP was in IV, which is pretty key because it kind of tells you what the round looks like for Crazy. If you have an AWP there, you know, trying to play the picks, it allows you to know you have some time, but Rez needed to get that kill. Now the setup comes from CR4ZY for the A bomb site. You can see Nex has to wait for his teammates to be in position a little bit more than they currently are. And there we go. Some smokes out onto the A bomb site. Coverage on the train. E-box sandwich, everything. Ivy.
Oh, Forest's position was so important to get an early lead on this push, but the flashbang stops him from connecting the shot. Up on the high ground, he'll get taken out. Lecro delivering with the AWP once again. It's a cleanup on the A-bomb site. NIP bleaching the floors. No traces of CR4ZY in that round.
Great stuff.
The initial entries.
Yeah, great stuff from Get Right. Look at that 3K. James, it seems like Forest is like the sacrificial lamb. Every round he just gets taken out straight away.
As long as it works. I'm glad that they're just letting Lecro do the AWPing. It's working, so don't force it on somebody else. He's delivering repeatedly with the AWP in this particular game. So NIP playing a reactive game there. At that point they had like 3-4 flashbangs, didn't really have all the utility they might want to disrupt any plays through main. Just waiting, but Lecro with the multi-frag with the AWP works swimmingly. There's the running right-click flashbang in case anybody's holding an angle towards the ramp. Just initial grenades from CR4ZY. Molotov up top in case anyone's making an aggressive play. And we've had at least 2 rounds from NIP where they've gone charging up B ramp, so these are necessary.
And a change of pace from CR4ZY, just a big push in towards the B bomb site. Lecro with an important shot, Golden. He's in a lot of trouble, needs to get multiple kills. Lecro will deliver as he falls back, but the bomb site has been conceded and the bomb should be planted, although CR4ZY are trying to take it safe, so they are not going to get it down immediately. NIP have managed to rotate out of connector mostly. We have actually 2 coming from CT spawn, so at the very least NIP have players out on the train yard. This is great for them, but they have to get the kills now as they start to encroach closer.
See the molly from Lecro by connector to stop the team taking a central forward position. Hunter in the middle of the train. Gerard's going to have a better angle, ready for Otto as well, and Nexa will be taken care of. 4 players surviving for Ninjas in Pyjamas. You thought it would be more costly than that. Seems they're finding some success now. That was a really good molly by Lecro. He didn't know if anybody was there. Nobody was there. But it is such a strong position for T sides to take care of people who are coming through connector or flank them as they jump from train to train or go round the back of the train. So that's a good one to know for a retake to help your teammates move into the bomb train yard.
Yeah, we'll get the tactical coming in from CR4ZY as they start to try to figure out this situation. And it's been so interesting because I feel like the way it was set up on the desk, all the storylines, there is so much that should suggest that NIP are on the struggle bus in a variety of different ways, and in a lot of these rounds as well. If you look at how they've lost some of the rounds, it's due to what looks like, you know, again they haven't had that practice time as much as they would have liked. They are using Lecro still because they didn't have time to, you know, get Golden into the action. Forest has not had enough time to practice due to being a recent father. Congratulations to him, and so on and so forth. You know, the list goes on. And they have all these rounds where they don't have utility but still manage to win them. They're really making it work, James.
Golden starts alone towards B. And maybe CR4ZY will be conditioned to a slow pace on B based on those former aggressions. Reyes going to ladder him quickly. Again, no one making any plays in towards main for NIP. HE over the top. Nobody home on this occasion, not really. Combined 12 damage across 2 players. And an early smoke on the ramp. There's a flashbang. They'll go straight through it. They've got the numbers to abuse. The rotation is going to be long. There are flashes deep. There's an instant trade. Golden trying to hold things down. Molotov to create some space. He's got a frag onto Letny, but he'll go down eventually. Has he bought enough time for his team? Rez on the flank. We've got Nexa on the high ground waiting for this. Otto could help, but that will leave the B bomb site weak. So his presence up top is going to be a problem for CR4ZY to deal with.
Yeah, you're dead right. It's a really big problem, and that's it. Otto gets caught falling back down the ramp, but it's down to Get right now as he swings forth. He's close to the bottom. You might see a barrel. He goes closer. Hunter reacts in time, and once again, CR4ZY, they go for this fast B play. NIP did a pretty good job, and heads up play from Golden. Actually, the way that he handled that and repositioned. He did as much as you could really hope. He created delay. He got some frags on the board, but it wasn't quite enough for NIP. And CR4ZY, can they eke out one more?
Brute force from CR4ZY towards the B bomb sites. If Get Right was 1 or 2 pixels to the left, he has to jump on. He sees the barrel of the gun of the AK and probably gets himself a quick headshot but here we are. Otto once again in the ladder room position with the AWP. That smoke's going to be an issue. Delays his shot. Expecting a rotation from CTs, but Rez is comfortable. Got some grenades towards main. Teams Rez wants to go forward, but he eats second one, and this has been a disaster on the A bomb site. Gold and Lecro remain. Lecro, that's a very important shot though. And he's got a gap in that smoke, but he'll rotate elsewhere. In the meantime, Golden's found himself an AK-47, and the bomb hasn't been planted just yet, so he'll use these extra seconds to go towards main.
Yeah, big reposition from both of the players. Golden, it's going to take a while to get to that team main spot, and Lecro is kind of waiting it out here. He wants to keep himself alive at the very least. Already scoped in, so won't give away any sound cues there. Otto is definitely going to nail this one. Golden's walking around the corner. There's nothing you can do. Just the wrong weapon in the wrong position for Golden, and Esperanto takes off the head of Lecro, and that's a wrap for the first half, but it's not a bad one considering how bad it could have been for NIP, and Crazy with a good recovery as well. This is neck and neck. We'll have to see how things will measure up after the break.
Crazy started CT side with 7 rounds on the board. I think they're in a good position. During the breakdown, asked me who I thought would win, and I think at this point, I would slightly favour Crazy. Slightly, but it's just hard to know what to expect from Ninjas in Pyjamas on this T side, but we won't have to wait long to find out. Hunter's gonna have a cheese board selection of grenades on this CT pistol round. A HE, a flashbang, a smoke grenade, the same for Nexa. No kit, so I'm very curious to see what they have in mind. If there's a B bomb site play, they could potentially smoke off both the choke points. We shall see. Hunter has a smoke in his hand, but he's towards Ivy at the moment, so there's going to be plenty of utility for the retake. One and HE up the ramp. That's not going to quite work out. Nexa will lose his grenade to the T side. Also gets headshot from the other side of the train yard. His teammates need to make their way through that connector position. Esperanto charging forward. W all the way. Can't quite finish off Get Right. Orez gets his reload in, but he might not last very much. Oh my god! Okay, never mind. Get Right 1 versus 4. Absolutely disgusting stuff. Esperanto versus 2 on the sidewalk. Completely exposed reloading. Somehow gets 2 headshots from it. That was nasty.
Yeah, that sidewalk peek from the T side is such a risky peek, as you don't have anywhere to move. There's only one position you can stand. You're limited by the kind of lip there of the sidewalk itself. And that did backfire on NIP going for that one. Esperanto ready for it, and NIP now losing that pistol. They won the pistol in the first half. So you can see that there's like almost nowhere you can stand there if you go for that peek. It's an easy one for Esperanto. You can't challenge him like that. Got to give him more respect. 18 for 10 at the moment. So 4 deagles from NIP. They're not committing all the way.
Let's see if they're able to engage in a similar fashion to the one that Crazy did. There are other angles to deal with as well, but again, so many of these channels, look how tight they are from a CT perspective. There's only so many places they can stand. So I feel like you've got a fair chance at doing 50-ish damage. And who knows after that. Rez creeping out, spotted Otto. Couldn't make a connection, but Esperanto so close. Not really fearing these pistols, and indeed with the deagles. Won't be as bad as with a P250 or something. Deagle has such range anyway for the headshots.
Yeah. Golden, oh, I was going to say he crept out to the upper position on B.
He's dead, Dan.
He absolutely is. And it's been a costly run for NIP so far in terms of, you know, sacrificing 2 players for 2 missed opportunities. And it's definitely low percentage in a round like this, but here comes the P. Hunter is extremely ready for this. Can't get... Whoa! Alrighty then. Alrighty then.
I don't understand what just happens.
That's
apart
beautiful.
from Lecro's on the server.
Yeah, can they get another one? That's the question. If they get another one, that would really put Crazy in a bad spot, because the big buy's coming out next round for NIP. Get right. One more kill. Let's see. Not quite. Esperanto was shut down. Good stuff from Crazy. That's what they needed to do. Couldn't really allow any other damage to be done.
Smart wide swing from Esperanto. Had more space to play with in that engagement, and Crazy are in the lead.
Is Forrest going to AWP straight away? I'm wondering. He's got $5,800, James. Looks like he's saved for it.
He's had a nightmare so far, but there's no reason that should continue on the T side, even though the CT side, you'd imagine he would have more success having held the angles in the first place. But Lecro is doing the heavy lifting with AWP in the first half, so we'll see if Forrest can turn things around. Got some grenades on the A bomb site. Rez was spotted making his way to Olaf. Now there's a charge straight into the B bomb site. Get right. Just better equipped. Very, very fast moving round. Now, Crazy are not really in position at the moment. That might help, however. We've got Letney close to the flank as well. I'm not sure if the angle will be spotted by Forrest as he moves back. The boxes are going to obscure his vision up top. Now he's in an awkward position. A flying Letney's going to take him out. So it goes from bad to worse for Forrest at the moment. Golden knows on the other side of the train yard, and he might be key in holding this down. Hunter gets taken out. Otto very close. Takes one in the face. Now is everyone saving the AWP? Apparently not. Esperanto with the right swing. And now it's Golden versus 2. That's a beautiful trace from him. Lenny's in an awkward spot. The smoke is up. Is Golden a believer? I think he realizes he's off the bomb. The spray at point blank range is too great. Rescues the AWP as well. And there's the run for NIP, but he won't survive.
It's so close too. That's absolutely gutting, isn't it? This is going to be a really interesting round. Again, these teams are tied at 9-9. Now, NIP, they're going to have an interest. I mean, they should have the edge when the money's like this, just because it can be a little cheaper to get everything you want as the T's. Although they did take their time buying. We do get the AWP from Crazy. Esperanto's got it, but he's got no Kevlar, nothing to back it up with. There's no kits. There's a very limited grenades. It's a CZ and MP9. This is very wanting, this buy from Crazy. Lecro doesn't have any armor. This is this is not ideal for either side, but the implications are huge as both teams are broke right now. Big round. Can't really emphasize that enough. What are NIP going to be choosing to do in this situation? Crazy have a potential setup to push Hunter. Okay, they have, but Esperanto can't flash him in, so he's unlikely to push without a flashbang on Ivy.
Hunter's the cleanup if Esperanto is engaged with the AWP. There's often enough distraction. I feel like it's rare you're going to see a game like this from Forrest. You can see the frustration, but he still keeps a very cool head, which you have to respect. That might get to more people. But while this presence is being shown from Golden towards B, have a look at the radar. You see, oh, that's brutal for Crazy. Just as they release the setup, it seems that a distraction was enough to make them move elsewhere. They put a timely smoke down, but it's the kills you need in a situation like this. I think they'd want that engagement if they knew it was coming.
The problem for NIP, though, is that they don't have any positioning, and given the buy of Crazy, they kind of need to be further forward than they already are. They're going to get the smoke molly that's so classic on Ivy, so the pressure's coming towards A now, but again, like, they haven't left themselves with very much time. There's a smoke left, they have to go through it, there's no choice. Hunter, we can't nail that one, and that's going to be a problem. 15 seconds to go, and Esperanto's dropped a bomber, and now we've got problems for NIP. Esperanto's the problem, picks up a second one. Where is the bomb? It's not moving quickly enough. It might just, Rez is going to have to commit to this, and he's going to pray. He's going to pray he can get it down in time. Where are the players coming from? He's in a 1 versus 3 with the bomb down. He can't adjust quickly enough. Olive will take him down, and I think, James, there's a lot of shortcomings from NIP there. They just there was just not enough pressure from them in this round.
Unless I'm mistaken, they moved through the choke point, so it was 20 seconds on the clock. That's a luminosity round.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong, if a smoke's in the wrong place, if there's a gap and there's a guy behind the smoke with the CZ, how do you deal with it? You can't.
Yeah, Train is not... I mean, there's a difference too, you know, if you're going to slow play things like that, there has to be some level of pressure. But unfortunately, the only pressure on the map was Golden firing a few bullets to a ramp and then throwing a smoke. And that's not quite enough because you haven't taken any utility or given an argument to throw any utility around the A bomb site, like, you know, to the A players. So they have a smoke at 20 seconds. That's not ideal when they started the round with no utility, let's not forget. So CR4ZY picking up that really impactful round. GetRight sacrificed himself. He's pumped up Lecro. Lecro's been souped up with that AK-47. Let's see if it can amount to anything.
Can be headshot through this wall. Unlikely in this particular round, I think, but no, RPK's taken a lot of headshots through that wall in the past, being the man to spot with the grenade in the hand. Looking for the timing of the T's taking presence towards the upper B area. Maybe it means a rotation, maybe it doesn't. We've got the 1 AK for Lecro, the hero AK. Train, such a hard map for a hero AK. Normally you want your non-AK players to stay alive, but to get through a choke point on Train, they may have to just run down and take some bullets. And you can see Forest will be some cannon fodder on the high ground. That could have been a lot worse. Now, Nex is moving up. He's got his teammate covering the high ground. He's got the smoke for the low to make things easier for him. Lecro creeping, trying to do some damage. Nexus sweeping all the dust in the corner, however. And GetRight looking for a Glock on the A-bomb site, jumping around to his boom. It may be a relief that that one's over for them. 11 rounds for CR4ZY.
Yeah, you can see that's also not an ideal situation insofar as the person peeking first is the guy out of the smoke who is GetRight with the Lecro with the rifle through a smoke. You know, it should be the pistol that's going first in an ideal situation. So these small details not going the way for NIP, and I mean, this will look better this round in terms of the buy, of course, after the save rounds, but NIP in some danger. I feel like CR4ZY is so close to getting some momentum. Esperanto going close towards T main, and he's like the big boss. You know, it's going to be hard to deal with Esperanto now that he's fired up on an AK-47 in these forward positions. How do you best him in these 1v1s? See, Rez is so aware that that push could already have happened, spraying the corner in case Esperanto was there. Slow pace here from NIP. Flashbang across. Alto whiffs the shot.
Well avoided the flash. Smokes the choke point. And he will change position. AWP is rotating elsewhere, and Hunter will post up. And Hunter's got a second smoke grenade as well. So if NIP try to make a late play there, it might not work out for them. And now we look at the time pressure. We also look at the utility for NIP. At this point, they've got 1 smoke and 1 molly, both on GetRight, who's in IV with a MAC-10. Meanwhile, the bomb is towards the B bomb site. So they've got no real utility to cut off the connector position. And this investment, this is the standard stuff, but Hunter's beyond it. So they're not too concerned. They're waiting with 2 players towards the B bomb site. Golden walks to his doom. The flashbang comes in too late. It's too far away anyway. GetRight taken out towards Ivy. So far, so good for CR4ZY. Simply waiting, dealing with them as they come. Take a ticket, please. Rez on top of the train with the bomb with 15 seconds. He's got himself 2 frags, but Nexa will stop this bomb from going down. Forest now left alone by the sidewalk position. He's got time to do this. Beautiful spray, but he's got to plant the bomb quickly. Has he got time? I think he might just... Letney full health. He doesn't know for sure where Letney is. He's got 6 bullets. Maybe he's got a slight warning with this shape. Can he land a headshot? No! 12 rounds for CR4ZY. They pull away now by 3.
Oh, that's the round, isn't it? I've seen Forest do it so many times before, but it's not going to happen this time for NIP. The silver lining is that they did a lot of damage to CR4ZY's economy, and they got a bomb plant, so that will help their economy. And given the fact that they have a loss bonus building, they will have something to fight with in this next round. But this 1v1 from Letney, really, really good stuff. I mean, just goes to show there's such immense talent across the board for CR4ZY. That's one of the reasons why they're so deadly and why they've made it this far. And You can see that Forrest is not having the best game. It looked like it was difficult in the first half for him to have positions that would work. And honestly, seeing Forrest dedicated AWP, we've seen this before, James, in the past, and it's never seemed optimal. Forrest has always seemed like the guy that picks up the second AWP when he feels it, and then he does damage. But
well, I wonder if at the moment it's just finding something that's going to work better than what's happening so far. May feel some shortcomings in his contribution at the moment. And he quietly makes his way into the ladder position, but GetRight's got perfect timing, and you can see NIP swarming immediately. There's no utility apart from what they find on the floor. Just charging through, guns out. Oh, that's the bomb. Hunter's down to 1 HP. He needs to hold the IV position. He needs presence, but it'll be taken away by the likes of Electro. Jumping straight into the arms of Esperanto. Beautiful multi-frag from him. GetRight trades, makes it 2 versus 1. They know where Nexa is, but Nexa's got the 1v1 at the moment. Doesn't know where Forrest is. He knows where he is now. NIP, double figures. They make it to 10.
That's good stuff. It seems to be the case that playing some of these faster rounds is beneficial for NIP. The longer the rounds go on, CR4ZY get to make more plays. We see, for example, CR4ZY have been quite good, quite adept at taking forward positions, really making life difficult for NIP when the rounds, when there's a lot more decisions that can be made in the round. But if you play it fast, you play that deathmatch style, that seems to be a good look. But you can't do it all the time. Or can you? I guess is the question sometimes. We'll see what NIP decide to do. It is a tactical from CR4ZY. They realize the desperation of this situation. They could very well be about to lose their leads. Otto has an AWP and Esperanto's Force Bot as well. He's got Deagle and Kevlar. So yeah, they're committing to the full Force buy around Otto's AWP, which he purchased. This is an interesting one, James. CR4ZY somehow pulled this one at the back. I don't know if there'll be a recovery for NIP, but they have the advantages to win it.
Once again, CR4ZY set up that IV position. Hunter in a very forward spot. Esperanto at the back, but sorry, Otto at the back with the AWP. Esperanto only has a Deagle. NIP have been really patient with their approaches to IV. They've been slow. And they tend to wear out the patience of CR4ZY before NIP moves to IV. However, sometimes, by the time NIP are in position, there's no time left. So we'll see which way it goes. Nexa moving more forward on the B bomb sites. A real lack of utility here for CR4ZY. And again, the patience of NIP. Hunter starts to back away. Nothing's going on around the map, but still, there's a timing where CR4ZY make this play. I wonder if this is like a hard counter from NIP. If they know at a certain time on the clock, they abandon this position on IV and they do something else.
Indeed. They do try to investigate towards IV. We see on the radar there's some players moving towards that direction for CR4ZY, so they don't know exactly what's going on yet. They are also rotating Otto towards backlines, so the B-bomb site right now is pretty vulnerable, although there are some flanking opportunities with Letney so close to the pop dog, but NIP got to be careful not to run themselves into an anti-timing, which maybe that was, but Rez with a brutal, lethal shot to open up onto the AWPer. That's a dangerous weapon gone, but Nexa shows us that the MP9 is dangerous as well. But forward positioning gained quickly, swiftly by NIP as they look to get the bomb down in the nick of time. And in swings Esperanto. He just saw Rez. That's big information. Rez has to be looking towards the right spot at the right time, and he might just get himself into safety.
Then he takes one in the face. Hunter may want to hold on to what he has now. There's no defuse kit for these two players. Unless one's on the floor. The Deagle continues. Esperanto, no! No! I cannot believe he's just done that! What is this? What is the science behind that?
Esperanto, that lethal Deagle is unbelievable. Every single bullet used to perfection.
Oh my god.
The 180 is unbelievable. We know that he's capable of this. We've yet to see something quite so absolutely disgusting and outrageous. And what a shot to the hearts of NIP.
Even he's shocked he's on the same team.
Look, what do you do about that? That is a guaranteed round. This is a guaranteed round. There's no time to get 3 kills with 180s like that, but somehow Esperanto finds it. And now NIP, they need to dig deep. They need to dig extremely deep. That was their comeback. That was their comeback.
31 frags. He's 31 for 14. Esperanto's having the game of his life at the moment. There's a small after the first frag, he just strafes a little bit, just to take the spray away. Oh, that was so sick, and he's obviously just blown his load, hasn't he? He's dead now. 5 versus 4 for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They get an early frag, but how can they recover from that? That's a shock to the system. The
way to recover from that is to win this round, because if they win it, they at least break the economy of Crazy. Their buy again it looks somewhat. It's not ideal. It's decent, but not ideal. NIP have the man advantage. They have to just make sure they dig deep. They don't allow that situation to really get to them in any way. It happens, and they know Esperanto. They know that Esperanto's good, and he's capable of that. And that stuff can happen in a game of Counter-Strike. NIP, there are a lot of things that you could argue that they're unprepared for this major in many respects, but one thing that they do have is bucket loads of experience, and they've all experienced stuff like this before. Now all they need to do is find a way to finish this round off and reset Crazy. That pop flash was missing in NIP's CT side. Simple pop flash and seeking of information. My God, Esperanto, what are you capable of? You absolute monster. There's 2 flashbangs left on the CT side, and then come NIP. Letney in Pop Dog doing damage. Otto shuts down the sandwich push, and Hunter takes advantage of Rez, not sure where to look, looking towards Pop Dog, and they will be annihilated. Forest in the most ridiculous 1v4 situation to really save NIP. It's not over yet, but with that round in the bag for Crazy, it is now truly, well and truly in desperation territory for NIP. All the Hail Marys need to be unleashed right now. NIP have won 2 rounds in this half. It should have been 3, but Esperanto is going nuclear at the moment. Ninjas in Pyjamas seem helpless against the tide that is Crazy on the CT team. Yeah. I mean, Lekro was the guy that lit up the scoreboard for NIP in that first half, but in the second half he has not had quite the performance, and we've been looking to somebody else, and no one else has stepped up to do what Lekro did in that first half for NIP. It's 4 Deagles and a Scout. That's an HE. Oh God, that's going to do some damage. Get Right's going to fall back. Timing Deagle shot. There we go. Obviously not going to find anything. This is so bad for NIP. Given the amount of money they've left themselves with, they will have a buy in the next round, especially if they get a plant. So a good buy. They've got max loss bonus. That's the only thing going their way at the moment. It's money in the wallet. Forwards, HE. That same position is good for a pop flash as well. Ninjas in Pyjamas try to move in. They're stuck in a choke point, finally making their way out. Get Right will be the first to fall. Lekro's on the sidewalk position. Nexa running low on bullets, but he's got his teammates in position. Rez now 1 versus 3. He's got himself 2 headshots to make it a 1 versus 2 actually. Has he got as many as Esperanto? Hops up, spots one of the players, but where is the second one? He doesn't know. No HEs remain. They're not closing the distance too much just yet. We've got Hunter by the spools. Esperanto spotted, tagged ever so slightly. He knows where both of them are now, but too much to ask. Match point for Crazy. Yeah, that had to be such an answer to Esperanto's 3k with the D, 4k with, what was it, like 5 HP or something, but it's obviously too much in this case to ask. NIP will get the full buy in hand, and indeed they have all the money available. And this is such an important one to win. NIP do not want to go down 0-2. Nobody, of course, wants to go down 0-2 on day 2 of the new Legends stage. And, Crazy, this would by no means be any kind of an upset. I think most people would have expected them to win given their form, given the troubles of NIP of late. But there is always a chance in Counter-Strike. It's not over until 16. In regulation, at least. NIP, what have you got to show? I still cannot comprehend that Deagle series. Yeah, just, that just came out of nowhere. Clean 180. That was so sick, though. Honestly, the little strafe around the second frag, the awareness, unreal. 5 match points for Crazy. Here comes the first one. Ninjas in Pyjamas are fighting for their lives in this game at the very least. There's a queue of players coming out of the ladder room. Get Right's going to take the first bullet once again. 4 versus 5 for Ninjas in Pyjamas. There's a flank coming in from Esperanto as well. They're stuck around a choke point. They're being delayed by Crazy, but they're patient. Esperanto's flank is eliminated. Lekro falling. Can't take out Hunter. 3 versus 4 now. NIP. The longer this round goes on,
the better positions the CTs will be in. The bomb's on the floor. Forest and Rez remain. It's not too late for Forest to get something done, but multi-frags with the AWPs. A lot to ask for. The stereo frags for CR4ZY, 16-10. They take train over Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, they played really, really well. And honestly, the thing is that it wasn't until that clutch from Esperanto when it really started to look bad. NLP looks competitive. It looked like that was